Hey, what is up, guys? We are back. Welcome back to the podcast that we have basically left behind you for months. This is Fortress Striker, and I'm back, and it's been a while, guys, so sorry. Sorry I didn't come back sooner. That's not my fault. It's Noel's.
You've been a busy man. Oh, and yeah, it also is Noel's fault.
It's totally Noel. And of course, with me is my Power Trip member, Giovanni.
What's up, Kevin?
Not much. We have so much to really talk about, but before we get to talk about everything that's gonna been happening since these past few months since I was out, I want to go ahead and say I'm very sorry to all my viewers. For those who have not been updated or checked out the video, I made a post on my channel. We'll leave a link in the description to this episode. I want you guys to understand, I'm very sorry. Just so you guys know what's been going on for these last few months, I've been going through a lot of family issues, and I've been very preoccupied with my job, and it's been very hectic and exhausting, so a lot has happened. So right now things are like getting a little bit better, but like I said, I do apologize. We haven't been updated to the game, but we're gonna do a lot of changes around here. So just so you guys know, this show will not longer be called the DBS Podcast, and because we want to talk about more things than just Dragon Ball Super, but we will still talk about whatever left over, and that's why we got Giovanni here. He's the main guy who gets all the information. We're going to talk about that in the show. So we are now changing it up to the TCG Party. Now, a lot of people may be wondering, what the hell is a TCG Party, and what dumbass came up with that? Well, it was, I wouldn't say dumbass, but it was you, right, Dio?
No, that's incorrect.
Okay, good. Who was the dumbass?
Let's see here. I don't know, it just kind of happened, really. I'd like to say.
Well, anyway, guys, yeah. So TCG Party was a name we used to form a club. Didn't only lasted like one semester because I quit the game in time of Yu-Gi-Oh. But we made it back in 2017 at our college campus, and I wanted to do a card game club because I feel like nobody got to do it, and I saw a lot of people play card games. Mostly we were playing Yu-Gi-Oh. So when we got to make this club, we made it happen. It was during the spring term of 2017. I was the president. Our friend Stevie was vice president. It was his final year in MDC, and Gio here was our treasurer.
Correct.
We got to do an event where we made bake sales, we made money for our club. I got to gather a lot of people that I got to meet up. This is also where we got to meet Noel, and so Noel, before he became Noel, we got to go in and learn stuff and got to hang out and meet some cool people.
I have pictures of the base, so still, actually.
Oh, you still have the pictures?
Yes, I do.
Oh, that'd be great. We could leave them somewhere in the Discord. We might show them sometime to our fans and everything. But yeah, so we're now going to be considered called the TCG Party. Now, the TCG Party is where we're going to, like I said, is where we're going to go ahead, talk about everything that's going on in every card game community, and a lot of updates and issues that's going on in the community, as well as the card games themselves, with ourselves, with our problematic erratas, ban lists, everything that can change it up. So we're also going to talk about Bandai's Digimon card game, where Giovanni and David Walker, one of our guys who does the sales for the TCG player, does play the Digimon game, and Noel too. We got Pokemon that's been going through a lot of scary sales, which I'm into right now, and everything's been chaotic, and I'll tell you that story. Yu-Gi-Oh is just Yu-Gi-Oh. That's it.
Yeah, I picked up a Yu-Gi-Oh deck, and then Vanguard is getting a lot of hype for Overdress at this present.
Yeah, that's pretty much everything. So with this, guys, welcome everyone to the official TCG Party, but this will be considered as season 3 of the podcast, so do not worry, it's still the same show, just a different name, and we'll still keep the logo. I'll just change it around sometime soon with a thumbnail, but in the meantime, let's just get started. So what's the first thing on the agenda, Gio?
I think the most pressing topic, which is today, Target announcing that they are no longer selling Pokemon and sports cards in their stores effective today. I've been watching some YouTube videos and there is no sports cards or Pokemon on their shelves.
That's
So I
correct.
think that
Yeah, that's correct. So by the time we were on December of last year, I went to Target one day with my mom, and I was checking out to some cars just to look around and stuff. Not much to buy or anything, but then noticing there was a line, and I was very surprised about this. And when I saw the line, they were telling me, "Oh, you gotta get in line to buy some cards." Wasn't really gonna buy anything at that time, but it really kind of shocked me because card games were never really as big as it is. Even when it's like a new inventory or anything, it's just everything was selling out. It's been going on for months, and then Target has always been dealing with this scary skit sales. Everyone was only allowed to buy 3 of a certain product, but they're the same sets, same type of look of like products you want to buy. Like it's like, oh, you want to buy like, for example, 3 of the Hatrium Championship packs, 3 of the Rillaboom's Championship packs. There are fun battle styles if you're playing the Pokemon stuff. There's also the sports cards. There's limited amounts of 3 packs only for Digimon. DBS barely has any packs whatsoever. Yu-Gi-Oh! You barely see. I'm surprised. The only ones you can only see around those guys are the sports cards and Magic. But then later on, the sports cards now started to make more sell, mostly like the NFL cards.
yes, the prisms from Panini.
Yeah. So it's been going chaotic, and especially since in my job where there's a Target downstairs, I had to go there sometimes to get some cards before it's too late. Luckily for me, I got some of the best Pokemon cards. I pulled a shiny Charizard VMAX. It was great, but at the same time, it was hurting my bank account, of course, and of course, it was hurting a lot of people not even enjoying the game. Scalpers have basically been the worst thing that's been happening. And it's getting worse and worse. And just about last week, guys, it was actually coming to the point where, last week or 2 weeks, where we can say, it's been really hectic. And now they only been selling one type of product. You can only buy, like, if it has to be one product, doesn't matter if it's Pokemon or NFL or anything, it has to be one kind of product for cards, and that's it. Even if it's a booster pack, even if it's just one of those packages that has like a one pack with a couple cards in it, or it could be like one of those elite boxes you get, or tins, or whatever you want to call it. You're only allowed to buy one, and that was it. And by then, now Target is now his final sales. They're saying everything is going to be sold out, because once they're gone, guys, they're gone for good until the scalper situation's over. And Walmart is already in this situation, because as of now, lately, every card has been taken off the shelves until further notice. That's because the scalpers are basically being rude to the employers. They're being impatient. They're basically causing a huge mischief of terror just to buy these cards.
They're stalking the vendors following them, which is kind of creepy.
It's getting worse. It's now, you can never know if they can come out with a knife and just attack one of the guys who are just bringing in the truck, and he's just doing his own business.
We mentioned that last week because in, I think it was Milwaukee, this guy was jumped by 4 people. He had to pull out his gun because he's a licensed gun carrier, just to get him off of him, and then they all left him alone because they were about to beat him up for whatever. I think there were sports cards, I think it was at that time. So yeah, that's a very scary site, which implemented this new rule that they're not going to sell the sports cards or Pokemon, at least for the time being. People are speculating, however, they think, oh, it's just a cooldown, this and that. But I kind of disagree, Kevin. I think they're just gonna ban it, put it online where you have to beat out a bot just to get product, and it's just gonna inflate the sports card and Pokemon markets. If they don't get it back in the stores. Because at that point, you're forced to go to like a CVS, a Walgreens, Dollar Tree, Dollar General.
I went there too. They've been sold out. I even went to a Dollar Tree. Are you looking for Pokemon cards? We have no cards. I went to a Walgreens. I got lucky with like an old X and Y stuff. Didn't even get a good pull. I went to a Navarro, and they had.
Oh yeah.
They had the last Solomon's tin. It was whatever.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I've been to every Walgreens I walked around, and there's nothing, guys. It doesn't matter if it's worth fence. I even bought the last 5 packs of Pokemon cards from the CVS, and I even told a couple of them, yeah, the situation, you don't know about Pokemon. I told them the stories, and they're like, damn, that's surprising. all my employers I work with, I tell them I got all these cards, I pulled this, I show them pictures of my binder that I have for Pokemon, and sadly enough, it's not even worth it because now it's just, you can't even enjoy the games, you can't enjoy the collections, you can't do anything. It's getting skyrocketing. It's getting to the point that you don't even want to play card games anymore. And it's killing the businesses. The only one obviously that making the sales is card shops. They already made they even like cool stuff had to limit it to like 4 stocks at the time. And they're gonna rip you off for whatever price they have. They're the only ones that make the cards.
Yeah, they're doing that with the new Vanguard game. The Vanguard Overdress. The new trial deck's supposed to be $5. Cool Stuff has it at basically almost $15. Like, how is a new player going to get into that game? Like, let's say they want to play, right? It's just coming out, and they have Cardfight Vanguard on their Facebook just came out and said, oh, we have some supply issues, but like almost all these TCGs are having supply issues right now. We're gonna get into the Dragon Ball one in a little bit, but like, how do you expect people to realistically get into your game and play like Digimon? Like, there's people that they're just buying and they get into it, but you know how hard it is to get product to that game, and people getting in and people buying the starter decks at like 30, 40, 50, whatever. It's kind of crazy out there, you know. Some people even try in Barnes and Nobles to get cards. What do you think about that, Kevin?
Well, I was speaking to one of my employers. He plays Magic the Gathering. Even when there was like a bunch of Magic cards, he couldn't even find anything that he was enjoying because he probably is not interested into certain sets. He told me that the best cards you do want to get is the Barnes and Nobles, but even so, you can still get people to go over there because they know about Barnes and Nobles. If you just go to the manga section, toy section, they already got like all the cards sections every there for like board games, whatever, all for sale and everything, and it's just getting sold out. It's getting, you know, like repetitive over and over. And to me, I just go to Barnes & Nobles, I'll get some cards, I'll go get some manga. I mean, to me, it's a win-win because whatever I'm getting there, it's a win for me. But if I go to Target, I'm just going to go there for the cards because they don't have anything for video games. They're shortage on all the stuff. They don't have clothes I'm liking because I don't care for them. You know, Target used to be...
I mean, their clothes is like whatever, you know. I'll go there and pick up some, you know, let's see, like shorts or, you know, like a tank top, things like that.
I'll get some underwear. My underwear is ripped. Sometimes I'll do that, even socks too.
Well, I mean, yeah, of course. You gotta go to Walmart and Target for that, definitely. I mean, I went on Wednesday. I did my whole, you know, what do they call it? Hunting. I went hunting on Wednesday. Went to my Target up here in Naples, and I got 2 premium packs Dragon Ball from set 12. Which I've never seen that there ever. They had Pokemon Battle Styles. They had Vivid Voltage. Like they had that at least. They didn't have any ETBs or anything. No sports cards, and it was just like wow. Everywhere else I went just had Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, which was weird because I never seen that much Yu-Gi-Oh ever at different places. Like at CVS, Fire and Below, like they just had Yu-Gi-Oh packs. So I'm like, wow, people don't want Yu-Gi. That's interesting. Oh, at the Target, they had just restocked a whole thing of Ghosts from the Past, the Yu-Gi-Oh, which I think that's going to be like the new scalping move. Because like if you pull a collector's rare Dark Magician, you're looking at close to $1,000.
It was about, the highest I saw was $2,000. They already had it at the Target. Yeah. I told my friend to go get it because he was interested in the game again. He went after work, sold out. And it's going down in price now. It's like worth $975. I'm not really sure. Looking at it, I'll take a look at this in the meantime while I'm talking. But yeah, if the Ghost of the Past is just, it makes a lot of money.
They had just had like a fresh box. Like I could have walked out with like 10 boxes, dude. Like I've never seen Yu-Gi-Oh there ever, and I'm just like, it's just not, even at $15, like you're not gonna pull like that card. Like you're just hoping for that one card out of the whole set.
It's funny because I was thinking like, man, I'm so desperate, I'll even buy these old Yu-Gi-Oh special boxes that are right in front of me, but then again, why am I going to spend all my money on a game I'm not going to play anymore? That's just going to be cluttering in my closet, and then my mom yelling at me like, why am I buying, I'm still buying more cards. It's getting to the point that's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of hard because like, I have, let's see, for Dragon Ball and Digimon, I have about 5 1Ks full of cards, and then I have a Yu-Gi-Oh deck, I have a Pokemon deck, I'm trying to acquire a Magic, I think, Commander deck, But those are in like super. But it gets to a point where it's just like, wow, it just becomes overbearing. You have so much of it, you know.
Yeah,
And it's
looking at the Yu-Gi-Oh
and
card, it's like $800 now, so it went down.
But I think that's where the scalpers are going to go. They're going to go to Yu-Gi-Oh because that's where they know people grade the cards, which is important. They know people play the game, and they know it's expensive. They're not going to jump into Dragon Ball or Digimon because they don't know any of that. And Magic just sits there. I'd be very surprised if people just start picking up Magic because it's there.
I mean, Magic could be for fun. You don't have to play competitive, but at the same time, Magic is just not what it used to be anymore. So I just don't see Magic to continue on being the big game it's supposed to. You could give me. I'm not gonna say it's gonna go out. Maybe not yet, unless you heard this. Unless you knowing that the rumors might be that we're gonna we're kind of out of ideas. Sorry guys, but this game is not doing well. The community, we're not being supportive. Unfortunately, we're out of ideas. We're gonna have to discontinue everything. I'm sorry. Thank you so much for everything. Goodbye. I mean, that day happens. You know that's one card game that's been around the longest since 1993, and just leaves out saying goodbye for no reason. I've heard from people that the creators quit before, came back, and quit again. Not sure.
There's a lot of people.
I'm not sure.
Keep going.
Yeah, you're not sure with Yu-Gi-Oh, but then again, Yu-Gi-Oh is just so out of ideas. They even made a structure deck for ice barriers and spirit.
I mean, that sold surprisingly.
And it would have been great if it was long ago, but it's just, who cares nowadays? It's not a big thing.
I mean, they adjusted those rules, that they took back whatever when they started links. You can have, you don't need a link zone to have extra deck monsters out and stuff like that. But they just hurt pendulums. They're trying to get their players back playing that game.
That was the thing. There was no point for links. It was a waste. I just played a game today on Dueling Nexus with Moses, just for fun, testing some hero game because Heroes is the only deck that you should be playing Yu-Gi-Oh for fun, not for meta. Unless it is going to be considered meta, then go have at it. But when you play, you've already still had that extra slot. So technically, you're playing 6 without the links, 7 if you use the link arrow to point to your opposite of your opponent's section to let you summon an extra card from, and then you play 5 more slots to play your monsters from the deck or from your extra deck. And it's coming to the point that it's just so stupid. It's just a waste of time. They come with these archetypes that it just kills the game more than it just brings more people. People were leaving the game during links. It was getting cancerous.
They were. I mean, I think they should just, Dragon Link is a dumb deck, and that's the best deck in the game supposedly, and it's always going to be the game. It's always going to be this toxic game that people play because they're enamored by the old anime. They're enamored by how the game plays and stuff like that. It's like Marvel vs. Capcom. People love it, but it's a very toxic game when you get looped into an infinite and you just die. But there's some people that they want that kind of stuff in their game.
Exactly. It's not going to be anywhere, and who knows what Dragon Ball could be leading to that point in life. They might have to create something new that's not going to be effectively well for the game. I mean, I feel like for Dragon Ball it wasn't too fast during set 3 when they added the overrealms. That kind of went too early, and they're already having their own GOAT deck, as we know so far, that only consists
which is that era,
which is from sets 1 to the special set where Overall made their debut, where you get the Mass Saiyan, the Trunks, where it looks at the top 3. That's how far he's going to go.
Patrol Trunks, what a great card. But Mecha Frieza's the last promo allowed in that format.
That's the funny part. You're gonna allow to play Mecha Frieza. I think what they could, maybe if they would have done up to set 3, maybe it would have been good. Because that way it has all the consistent decks to play instead of just mostly playing Cell and Mecha Frieza.
I mean, I think it's good. I mean, because then if you open it to set 3, you got Mass Saiyan, you got all the Mecha. I can't even remember
Shugesh.
Other. Yeah, Shugesh was Mecha was just super good. I mean, what was it? I'm sure there was a Soul Striker deck. I'm sure maybe people still played Blue Red Vegeta at that point. But it was maybe I don't. I think Ginyu might have still been played. I'm not sure. But
Huh.
there was just it was a it was different times back then. And at least Target coming out saying that they're gonna still sell Dragon Ball Super and Digimon, even though they banned the other things, is very good for at least Bandai card game players like ourselves to go get the product if we're still playing the game or whatever
I
and
mean,
stuff like that.
can you imagine you work at Target and imagine you have the chance to get the cards before the employers, but then sometimes you have to talk to your boss and be like, yeah, I want to buy some of these cards. Like, listen, buddy, we're going through this issue with this entire card thing. If you buy some cards, there's going to be some sort of riot if we buy it and blah, blah, blah. You're going to have to wait till after there's like no line and whatever, or just get what you can get. I mean, can you imagine how hard it is? You only work for this job just to get the cards, but now because of all the scalper issues, you're not even able to get the cards. You're not even allowed to get the cards anymore. You're like, this job sucks, and then it's not worth my time anymore.
I mean, you never know. There could be people out there like that, or you could have like the corrupt employee telling his friends, like, "Hey, it's in here. I'll save it all for you," and then they all buy it, and then the people don't have the chance to get the product.
Exactly. They know you're the kind of guy you buy the cards. They're gonna have to be on your ass because they watch you 24/7 from the security camera on top.
I just think it's ridiculous. Like people were like camping out outside of Target. Like the GameStop camping out at midnight. Okay, that was cool. They did events, but you're literally on private property, kind of, sort of, just sitting there waiting. It's like, do these people have jobs? Like this was like their job because you made more money doing this than your normal job. Because you can buy a blister for 20 or like a mega box, which is like a kind of like a regular booster box for us TCG players for like $80 to $100. And when you would resell these things, you'd be selling 60, 70 for the blister, like 200 something for the mega box. Like at that point, if you sell, I don't know, like at least 4 or 5 of these items, you're like $800, $900, maybe 1,000. Like that's more than that's better than you working. You know?
And I think that's what the scalpers wanted to do. They want to buy more so they can spend more, and then they just save more as well for whatever they want to get the
Exactly.
pools and stuff. You know, I have made great fucking pools. In Battlestar, I already pulled like the most expensive card that was like around 150 at the time. I said I pulled the Charizard that was like 280. It's going down in prices, but they're still a lot better than ever. You know, I still have good cards in the conditions. I got some shinies. I have a profit. I got some good things in my binder. You know, and it's just it's cool to have it. I just want to play a deck. I was interested in seeing what they have. I like the set. I'm sad I never got to buy some of the other good stuff. And then the next set and now that the next set that comes out with Calyrex, people were already buying out the pre-orders, and it's just
Well,
getting.
there is good news for you because the Pokemon Company did come out and say they are reprinting Shining Fates and some of these sets that were during COVID. So, I mean, there was good news on that front.
Yeah. Although we never got to say what the main reason was this, guys, and that is stimulus. So, because we've been all basically manipulated by the whole stimulus check that we've been depending on for a while. Now, the first time when we got it, we needed it really bad because people were in the employment centers during the COVID, unless you worked at pharmacies, like in Target, Publix, you know, which is our grocery stores here in Florida, or like, you know, any grocery store in you know that's recognizable that does have this pharmacy, has this its food and sources, and we were all fighting out for toilet papers, masks, gloves, Clorox, Germexes. We had all that crazy things happening. You know, all those stores, like, they were happening. We needed those 1,200, and me and my mom had the 1,200. So each of us had to survive paying the bills, had to get the food, had to get the Harley to get the toilet paper. It was tough. Then now you go months later, and here we go. We got cards. We're like, oh, we're getting so used to this. This is great. We're getting vaccines. We're getting $1,400. Oh man, just running about and buying all these card games. Man, my life is great. And then it just gets worse and worse.
So we also have people claiming unemployment, getting that, like if that's like a paycheck.
Well, seriously, well, I heard the unemployment's still almost done. If my brother was still unemployed, he would have had it until September. But
Well, and in the state of Florida, they're shutting that down. I think they just stopped it very
he
recently.
doesn't live in Florida. He lives in New York. So,
Oh, okay.
so it's kind of different than how he gets it in some states, and they're the ones who went through worse. He has informed me that by July 1st, everyone, if you are from someone from New York, you probably don't know yet, or anyone who basically doesn't know what's going on in New York, I was informed that by July 1st, everything will be back to be open. So they're trying to get things back to normal. I know the issue with the pollen's getting really bad. A lot of people getting the vaccines. Is if you're taking the Pfizer, it's sorry, Pfizer.
Well,
Pfizer. Sorry, I get those names wrong.
Pfizer, yeah.
Yeah, so my
Let me
brother
see.
takes so Pfizer is good because the pollen's
this
a
guy,
side effect with the vaccine. My brother has taken it. He's been having this. He's already getting the allergies. It's been pretty bad, especially with all this stuff. But we're hoping to get things back to normal. I've already just got my vaccine yesterday, and my arm is sore. So I have the Moderna. My mom took it last week just to test and see how it is. So I'm taking the Moderna. So I got my first vaccine. I'll be taking my next one by June 10, and by then I'm gonna go to AEW because I got some tickets. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I know it's a lot of outside goers, but just bear with me. I'm just saying what I'm saying. So I'm going to see all of the wrestling on the day of my birthday, which is awesome.
So, besides being TCG players ourselves, we do like, wrestling. We like various things, and expanding this podcast from just a Dragon Ball Super one and including all these TCGs, we could talk about, we've made a lot of wrestling references, things like that. Kevin is like the master heel on the mic, it's like, so we could be a little bit more of ourselves to everybody listening and stuff like that.
Well, most people who join the cards, these things do enjoy wrestling too. We have Moses, we have Noah a little bit, we have you, we have me. David has also a huge wrestling mark. We see him every day wearing a Bullet Club T-shirt.
Yes. He'll never stop wearing one each day.
No, I did meet a guy when I was lining up for during the time they were doing the selling of the Pokemon cards. He was wearing a for a small time where they did a thing that they had in Miami for New Japan, and it was Miami. It was like with the vice colors, the cyan blue with the pink, and neon blues and pinks. They had that, and he's wearing the shirt. Of course, the guy can barely see the shirt because his belly was overweight, so he had like his stomach out a bit more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it was pretty cool. It was just me and someone that I wanted to talk to him about wrestling, but all they did was talk about was cards and cards and cards, and it was like whatever.
Yeah.
But we got to talk about much of the scalpers, so we should talk about the next thing that's on our list. What's the next thing on our list, Mr. Gio?
Well, we're going to be talking about, now that we're transitioning back to Dragon Ball. Bandai made two big announcements very recently here, talking about reprinting set 10 and set 11. Very important. And then in their second context, somehow GTS has lost set 13 out at sea. I don't know how that happens, right?
Let's go ahead right here to the channel here. I believe it's going to be pronounced the update on second edition reprints of UWI 1 and 2 and its archive booster. So here it says, as I read, we'd like to thank you all of you for your comments regarding to the proposal second edition reprints of Yusen Warriors Series 1 and 2. Due to the unprecedented demand from players, collectors, stores, and distributors, we have decided to add RE text signifying reprints at the bottom left of these cards. Additionally, boxes, packs, and cases will contain the second edition text as previously announced. In order to accommodate the above change, we must delay the release date of these reprints until October 2021. We're also excited to announce a new product tentatively known as the Archive Booster, which will feature desirable reprints in the original and new alternative arts. Cards in this product are selected from original sets 1 to 9, as well as all promo cards, all draft box cards, and more. However, no cards from UWI 1 through 4 booster packs will be reprinted in this product, and all cards will feature the aforementioned reprint text. We believe this product will help our players access older, difficult to obtain cards while also introducing exciting new artwork and foiling for all our fans to enjoy. We plan to release this product after the UWI 1 and 2 booster reprints will be provided you with more details as time goes on. We'd like to once again thank you for your understanding and reiterate our commitment to providing an enjoyable and accessible gameplay experience to our players. So we have all that information, and then they have everything of the next set called Supreme Rivalry. This part here, well, let's focus on the first topic and we'll get back to the second part. So you go ahead and explain what the fuck has been going on.
Oh, that's wonderful. So, I think that we're talking about scalping and scalpers, right? It didn't happen to Dragon Ball in the same way. Nobody's going to Target, clearing out Dragon Ball stuff. But there was, until this reprint, a new player barrier into the game of Dragon Ball Super. And what I mean by that is this. Digimon, by example, is another Bandai game. Yes, it's hard to get product, but you can get singles on TCG Player. But you can make decks for $50, $100. Pretty good ones, They're functional, maybe $200. If you wanted to make a competitive deck in Dragon Ball Super, you're forced to buy Dormant Potential, Violent Rays, a lot of cards that just add up very quickly. And so with them making this reprint, they satisfy the collectors, if you notice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the collectors didn't want these cards to just be the same card. Kind of like how they did with the Tag Team Gohan and the Bergamo reprints. How they looked like the same card.
Yep.
So they're appeasing everybody. Reprinting these cards. I mean, set 10 and set 11 came out during COVID. So I mean, I can understand. Because these sets feel like a soft reboot to the game. I don't know if you agree with me, because I know you play a little bit of you've seen the sets, maybe play a little untapped games or theorize. But doesn't Unison change this game? It doesn't feel like how we played in the beginning.
No.
What do you think about that, then?
Well, Unison basically had a different style. They just kind of copied off something from Magic. If you kind of tell that Dragon Ball was kind of acting like Magic a bit with their color tones and their ideas and their designs.
I call it baby Magic, with combined with Yu-Gi-Oh, and you get Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, it's cool. That's actually good news for players. It's cool to get reprints. It is kind of sad though that those cards that were worth value will soon to be worth less value. And also,
I think it's going to be like Yu-Gi-Oh, where they have the ones without a stamp or first edition, and then the other ones are the quote-unquote reprint.
Yeah, when I read that second edition, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really read that thing when you sent it to me on Messenger today. I just read it right now. When I read that second edition, I go, "What the fuck is that?" I mean, I've seen when I look at Yu-Gi-Oh, they just tell you first edition, and sometimes when they don't have first edition, it's like, oh, it must be like a reprint. It doesn't have that first edition, so it has like a little off the text. So it could be like, let's vibe because if you have
opposite.
Yeah, but second edition, that's like saying second place. This is the silver. You're not reaching the gold, sir.
I mean, it's gonna help out people because, I know quite a few players that they've left Dragon Ball Super for Digimon or for even Yu-Gi-Oh, which I thought that was wild. But in those games, if you could just buy singles for Digimon, or you start getting starter decks in Yu-Gi-Oh, it's just more achievable to buying a budget deck. When what I mean by this, a 50 to $150 deck. Because in Dragon Ball, you need the not that you can play with 4 shocking death balls, right?
Yep.
But let's say you don't even get dormant potential, right? You get 4 shocking death ball, but then you need 4 Frieza charismatic villains. Those things are uber expensive. You also need, what else? You need the 4 God Sealing Trunks techniques if you're playing blue. If you're playing blue, then the baby blue unison is pretty expensive, and then you have to play with the Trunks your prospect promo, and that just already ran you up a bill of like $300. If you're playing red, you're playing with Violent Rays, Yamcha counter. You might side Wolf Fang Fist. For yellow, yellow is not so bad, but the Vegeta Final Flash is kind of pricey. The Vegeta counter.
Well, most of those cards with that special rarity, I forgot what it's called, and it's like all the cards that mostly use it, of course. But of course, you do need like the sell one for green, because that, even if it's because it's for those part of those hand destruction decks, or just say, yeah, you know what, screw your hand, I don't even care, I'm just gonna give my card a boost and say, hey, you got no chance. You got all that stuff. Then black has all the support it needs itself with all its overrounds.
I mean, black is pretty decent until you get to the promo portion of the show.
Oh yeah, we talked about that 1,000 times in our episodes, and we nonstop never shut up about what happened with Turles, what happened with Majin Buu, what happened with Broly, and all that stuff. And I think black just got more cancerous than it needs to be.
I mean, black is heading into the set. We got the Lord and Savior Vegix, we got the boy Dark Broly, and then we got Mexico Bora. Possibly, that deck's looking like pretty good entering the new set. But these reprints are very good because this game lacks a casual base. And what I mean by like that, when I go in to see other people playing other games, they have people, they may not be buying like competitive decks, but whatever, but they're playing the game, they're having fun. Like Dragon Ball Super is kind of, I rarely ever see casuals playing this game. They're either like semi-casual or they're trying to be competitive tryhard. So, I think it's great trying to make these sets accessible to your community, to all your fan bases, or the people playing these games, because it's just not fair if because there's some people that say, oh, I'll skip set 10, I'll skip set 11, and set 10 is like the most staple of the two sets. Like all those staples are in that set, so it's like. But then they're selecting from 1 to 9, as well as promo cards and Dropbox cards. They're going to reprint things from those sets. Of course, they're not going to reprint set 7 sign cards. They're not going to reprint the Victory Strike or the sign cards from TOP. No. But everything else is game, and I think that's a great thing too, because if you can make your game more accessible, more people will play it. If you can make your product accessible, more people will play it. Having this barrier where people can't, like when people ask budget or their replacement, and you have to tell somebody, hey, look, there's not really a replacement. You could play this, but it's just not as good. Like it just feels bad. I don't know if you agree on that.
I agree. It's whatever is going on in these card games, like not just in Dragon Ball, but in other games, that if things are like troubling, some people it really lacks the community, and it can get on people's nerves sometimes. People are not being joyful. People can sometimes just get a little rage.
Speaking of like scalping and all that, we were saying, like, people were scalping the Digimon starter decks and products and reselling that on eBay.
Well, that happened. That kind of happened because we were trying to get Digimon to come to America for a long time, and when we finally did, it was already starting to be sold out in its pre-orders already. and like not like right now because we do see some structured decks, and if you go to PPG, but if you a couple months back then, yeah, it was like crazy. People were hyping up, they were prepared, you were prepared. You tried to get me into it, but I just couldn't get into that game. But that doesn't mean, in fact, I was gonna say don't play this game. I'm just not interested.
Oh, of course not. Yes, of course. We try everything out here, but it's just crazy because it's you want accessibility with these things, and it's just I don't know. I think this reprint. I mean, they did it first for Digimon, ironically enough, because they reprinted 1.0 and 1.5. They're doing that multiple times. So I was kind of wondering, were they going to do this for DBS? And you see, the answer is yes. And what they need to do is reprint stuff like this, make it easier for us. Stop with these exclusive promos. Make promos alt arts like you have in Digimon. And even in Digimon, they had the one set tournament pack where they were exclusive promos. Everybody hated that too. What did they do in the next set? Alt art promos. That's what we need. I'm not saying make the game cheap or whatever, because people think that expensive games are the ones that survive. But just make your game accessible. Reprint. I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh does that. Even though their game is mega expensive, the Mega Tins. And sometimes the starter decks have reprints of cards that people need, and that's kind of what we need in this game.
And and Gold Series and sometimes they're doing that again.
And Pokemon reprints their stuff, or they make their products have value. Like the Vegex Structure deck is one of the products with the best value I've ever seen. That deck has survived 4 nerfs, has survived, what is it now? 3 sets and 2 subsets? What other starter deck in this game's history has lived that long?
None.
Like somebody can go buy $10, $20, make a deck, smash it together, and it was a deck that, yes, it's powerful, but you felt like it was almost like buying the Reboot Gohan leader and putting 50 random cards in the deck. That the leader was making those 50 cards, even if they didn't have no synergy, they had synergy because of that leader, how good it is. And that's the type of stuff that we need for Dragon Ball Super, and I don't think telling people that they're just getting in, and some people are Pokemon collectors, some people are just collectors from other games, like just telling them that they can't progress and afford or do anything, because people don't come in looking to play this game casually. Like they come in looking to see, like, oh, they played Yu-Gi-Oh, they played this, like they want to play competitively. I think this is a great move that they could do, and just give accessibility at a time where COVID, it's not gone, but we're starting to head back to close to normal. Yu-Gi-Oh has already announced that they're coming back. Dragon Ball Super has already announced in-person events. I'm sure Digimon will follow because that's Bandai. Magic, I believe, is about to announce something similar. So, if we're gonna head back to where we were, probably 9 months ago, we need people to have, because the Dragon Ball community doesn't care about webcam events. They view it as a very bad thing. So we need to give people incentive to buy cards, and this is what this reprint does.
Yeah, pretty much. That's
so,
all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I'm gonna say. I mean, to be honest, if you were still actively playing the game more so than Pokemon, I'm sure you would have been excited. Like, oh yeah, they're reprinting. Hell yeah.
Well, I will comment saying that because of COVID, it took away the idea of how we can still be normal and just buy out the stuff just for fun and enjoy everything. Like, it wasn't even bought out as crazy when Set 6 did, because that was the only time they were selling like crazy. But I know when COVID came, Set 10 started selling out, Set 11 was starting to sell out. I bought more Set 11 stuff, then I got a chance to buy, only bought one box of 10, I bought a couple boxes of 11. I basically did do what I had to do, like the best I can to enjoy the game. Help a friend out who was like into the game too, and he was like he was collecting because he wanted to play Broly card because he's a huge Broly mark, and I wouldn't have mind because I would love to teach. I liked having fun with friends. I miss those, you know. I miss when I used to hang out with these people, just go to these card shops, do actual trades, buy off cards, talk to people in the end of you don't know, but they like to have a good conversation, you know, something like that.
The dynamics of playing TCG is correct.
It's fun. I don't know what they do in OCG, but they probably would do the same stuff too. It's fun. Doesn't matter what game it is. You know, I just want to have a chat with somebody. You know, see how it is. Some people might interest you, and some guys say, "Why don't you give it a try?" And it says, "Yeah, I'll give it a try. I might test it out. If it doesn't work with me, it doesn't work. If it does, I might be interested. I don't want to get too attached to it or get too addicted because I want to stay with at least one card game at a time. Because if you try doing 2 card games, it's going to cost you more in your wallet, and then you got to spend money on that format, then this format, you got to go to that tournament, and then you got this and that, and it gets hectic.
Yeah.
It's too much. Unless you're a professional, unless they depend on you. You got like all this money that you're getting from the vendors and everything, you know, and you're getting all this not scholarship. Sorry, because my brain is like weird. What's another term?
Sponsorship.
Sponsorship, that's the one. So you get all these sponsorships a lot from like the card shops. Sometimes you get it from like the people, the creators themselves or anything. As long as you worked hard, you top well, you save enough money for the right deck you're trying to build that interests you. You play tested it a lot. You meet their good friends. You want to see how that works, and they hope you and a team, if you're, because I know they do have teams. Not just in YouTube, but like teams that they do set up together. So like if one person wins, the next person can win, or if they lose, they still have this other guy topping in. And you're representing your whole team. You talk about that team, how it got you this far. You get the money, yeah, but then you help them say, yeah, we sponsor these guys. We're a group. We represent this. You know, that's why you got guys like the Pro Play Games having their own team. You look at other teams in like, let's say TAPS, the YouTube channel for Yu-Gi-Oh. They got to be together. Hell, I would love to say like if we went to a YCS at the time, I was saying yeah, TCG party is the ones that we're in, and if anyone was gonna top, I was always thinking like perhaps mostly like Stevie, because he was always like more into the meta decks than anyone and knows how fair and how well the gameplay can provide for him and the deck he plays and what side decks he'll go for the decks he's gonna go up against. You know, sometimes I had to challenge him in duel so I can like find a solution to use on this deck, even if it's not meta. Or the same thing in DPS. When I come to face Noel and Geo, I have to go ahead and find what I need to put in. That some people mean, some ideas they can help me with, and I can just see if I can top somewhere. You know, I barely make it to a top in DBS. I never got out top 4 in Yu-Gi-Oh because that's the highest I ever did. And for Pokemon, I had to borrow a guy's deck. And I'll say this, the Pokemon community, God bless them.
Really?
God bless them, man. They loaned me a deck, and it was a good deck. It was the one with the Blasphalon from Sun and Moon. And we were doing this thing because we were like, if we could get a lot of players to come into the tournament, we all get like free pizza. And it was like pretty cool. But he loaned me a deck. A stranger, he just loaned me a stranger. I could have like walked out, took his deck if I was that kind of guy, which I'm not. But if this was somebody, you never know. But the Pokemon community, I swear to God, is one community I have the mass respect in the card game world. They are fun, they are fair, they are balanced. Cool stuff. Actually, it makes sense with them because they also have they have 2 divisions. They have regular. They have a junior division so that kids can play, which I like because I like that idea. You have like a certain age so they can learn from the best players, like their brothers and sisters, or the moms and dads, or uncles or cousins, whatever.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it's really fun, and people can get into the game easily. Yeah, it's very expensive too, though. That's why they're like the second highest card game, right after Magic, of course. And the rotation kind of sucks because they do have to rotate once a year while Magic is 2, but that still doesn't mean for the fact I would love to enjoy and play Pokemon. I got to do the Pokemon tournament, and I had to learn that deck during the whole tournament. So it was really tough, but I got to learn around. I didn't get much wins, but I did I was like ranked 10 in that tournament. So that's not bad. Like top 10.
That's not bad.
That's pretty good for my first tournament. They also
I'd say so.
And you look at this. So one of the guys I first fought, he had to forfeit because he heard they were doing a Magic tournament that time, so he left. He forfeited. That guy was one of the top 4 DBS players.
Oh, no way.
I can't remember his name, but I remember he was one of the guys that outranked Marcel. So this guy, he just forfeited. So it's like not a win for me, but I already beat a DBS player in a Pokemon game. Is, you want to say, for fun? It's hilarious. Not like I said, it's not going to consider a win, guys, because you didn't really beat the guy. The guy just left on his own. But still, that was a top 4 DBS player, and I got to see him again later on. So you see, you can see a lot of things in this community, how it can change, and not just Pokemon, but everything that resolves in all the card games. You know?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I don't know how much I'm gonna probably like got off track because I don't even remember what I was talking about.
I mean, that's the great part about this. You know, we're just talking about the joys of us playing these card games and stuff like that, and that's what happens when you're brewing and you're doing different stuff. It's gonna take you to these different avenues, you know, and yeah. But anyway, heading back, because even I'm kind of like, so we just want to make these games successful. That's bottom line. And to the second thing that we have here, Bandai gives us clarity, letting us know that, you know, Set 13 is going to possibly be delayed depending on if your store has GTS instead of Alliance, and to go communicate with them. And that Target will continue to carry their Bandai products and not be affected by these trading card policy changes that Target has made. So they're doing everything that they can to get MSRP to the players and get people playing their games, which is important because Pokemon might be hurting now that their fans can't go to Target, can't go to Walmart, I mean, you know, maybe they can go to Walmart for a little bit more, but, you know, Walmart might be like, hey, look, we're getting rid of this. And if you got to go online to buy product, it's a bad time to go online and buy sealed product.
Or stores, like card shop stores. You're not going to get a chance with that.
Yeah.
And so...
I mean, Pro Play Games has been amazing during this whole time. They haven't upcharged. They go by TCG player price, which is understandable, you know, like... people aren't like, you know, the Machados had to buy things from secondhand and had to buy these high prices, so he's got to go buy TCG, and that's fair. Like, if when he gets the product, he puts it at MSRP if he can, or if he'll put it a little higher. But, you know, it's really hard right now for these business owners to give us MSRP when they're paying higher from the distributor and stuff like that. So, you know, you just have to make good decisions with your money. You know, buy singles, don't buy sealed, or, you know, buy at prices you can afford. You know, why are you going to spend $200 on 1.0 Digimon box when you could just wait for the premium pack reprints and stuff like that? And Dragon Ball boxes have started to go up to, like, you know, 130, 140. And so we just need to express patience and not just rush to go buy product, especially if you can't afford it.
And I also like to add that if you do buy singles from Pokemon, don't be stupid enough to buy out full arts, because they literally make every other card, including the energy cards, up to a secret rare. Like, I pulled a secret rare Fire Energy for $25 that I have in my binder. I just pulled, and I think that sounds stupid. Like, I like the idea that you foil it. I don't like the idea that you can secret rare everything. Like, everything in the game, it can be a secret rare. Is the funny part. Even the trainers have like the rainbow rare, which is like their secret rares. So like, you have Pokemon and trainers that could be rainbow rares, which are secret rares, and then you got like the gold stamp ones, which is like for the items and the energies. But if you're really willing to just play the game and you're making the deck you make, just buy out the cheapest one you can. Who cares? It's not like you're gonna build it up, because if you're just gonna deck out all that money, yeah, it will be a profit, because once those cards are out of the rotation, they're gonna be not useful. They're not gonna be remake ever again. They're gonna be like hard to get, and you can make a price. But at the same time, it's a deck that's like not even in continuation. It's not part of the gameplay anymore. It's just a deck that's like consists of all whole rarities that people are going to be wasting their money on spending too. So it's it's very much troubling. I mean, that's why I'll keep the decks for myself just for fun, and if they do go on price, that you send to the PSA, which are really backed up, just so you guys know, with all their high rarities and everything.
I mean that's the future of TCGs, getting your collectible cards graded. I really think that's where the value of these cards will come.
So,
because like a raw card could be like $20, right, Kevin? You get that graded, right? Huh?
Best thing you want to get is a card like at least $20. Sometimes they give you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
That's pretty much your limit that you need to do.
So like, but if you get it graded, right, that $20 card becomes a $150 card.
Well, the thing about that, Gio, is I've seen a lot of these channels and YouTubers. Not whatever you buy, you have to take a look the same way as a PSA person does, where they have to make sure that the borders in the cards are evenly matched, the edges are not cut or too thin or too thick.
Yeah.
The names have to be exactly in the nameplate. You cannot have any misprints, cannot have any scratches, cannot have any damages on the sides, cannot have any of that. So that way, in order to get a 10, which is the highest you want to get, you cannot have that card damaged. Put that card in a sleeve quick, enjoy looking at it, but if it's a rare, certain specialty card, like for Pokemon, for example, if they get shinies, they're ones that make more money than anything because they're for limited stock. So, especially the Charizards, because they're the most number one highest rarity cards in the game. So if you get those Charizards, you gotta make sure you also buy yourself a sleeve protector, because not a card guard. You gotta get one of those, because that way it doesn't damage the sleeve, where it also damages the card. Because you want to make sure which are very specific with sleeves, you have to put in. You send it to them. They have to wear white gloves like it's an antique. They have to make sure that the value of those cards is going to be worth money. You'd be lucky to make sure you reach an 8, 8.5, 99.5. You get a 10. That's something you want to keep for a long time and give it about maybe within the 10 years. If it goes very high in price in mint condition and you sell it off, make sure it's like a very good value. The highest in the Pokemon game that's in good condition is an Espeon Star, which is a shiny Espeon, and it is worth 30 grand, guys. I am not shitting. You can look it up on TCG Player, and it is worth a lot. And not just cards, even booster boxes. I don't know if you know about this, Gio, and everyone else here who listens to the podcast, but my recommendation, because in Pokemon, booster boxes are very good. Remember, NRFD, never remove from box, if you watch Dexter's Laboratory, because what happens is if you keep them in all protection sleeves, not open, and it's not damaged, it could go up in prices, which makes the values of those cards even go higher and higher depending on the set. For Pokemon, again, because they're actually the best with the PSA at this time, they have the set called Fossil, a really old set from like the beginnings of Pokemon, and that
I remember opening packs when that came out.
Did you know that box itself, first edition, unopened, is worth 25 grand?
I mean, I believe it. It's been a long time ago that I've seen the cards from that era.
And I even looked at all the other cards in Magic, because I know Magic has cards too. They even have cards that's worth like 50 grand, 45,000. You know, it's insane. But but you all get the point. Everything in the card game world can be very expensive and can be very useful. But I also want to go ahead and do a recommendation. At this time, it is best not to go to the PSA. We have issues now that they are backed up right to those cards, that it's going to take them a very long time to go ahead and mark up every card. So at this time, you better go to another card value community section, or whatever you guys want to call it, because right now the PSA, even though they're the number one place to do it, it's not the best time to issue, especially with all this scalper problem that people are just showing up their cards and whatever for something that they're not even gonna use. So
Yeah, it's just interesting. And speaking of cards having value, and since I know that some people like when I did market watches in the past, I'll do one very quickly here. Put 2 minutes on the clock. Alrighty. So, for everybody trying to buy their cards, all the black promos have kind of skyrocketed due to the Jax Dark Brawly next set. If you haven't picked those up, I would suggest you do so at prices you can afford and stuff like that. The SS4 Goku Beyond All Limits, Bardock against Fate, same Brainwash No More, very vital cards, and they only get better going into this set. The Red Goku and the Vegeta promos from the Red Gogeta deck, the Goku got bought out, went from $10 all the way to $30. The Vegeta's already at $20. Like, if you are somebody that was a Gogeta fan, pick those up before they start becoming like $40, $50. The Majin Vegeta One Drop Vegeta promo, he was sitting at close to 20, and now he's almost 30, and he was getting bought out. It's always hard during COVID with all these buyouts because just cards go up and down, or they just skyrocket and stuff like that. You just with King Vegeta and Mecha Gabora being like the two top decks coming from set 13, and all the black promos going up for not only Meki but Dark Brawly Vegex. Make sure that you guys plan ahead before sets come out. And with the delay of set 13, you might be able to get some of these promos a little bit before. I know Mass Aim Brainwash, it's a little pricey, but it is what it is. But try to make sure you pick those up. And that is the quick little market watch there, what you got there. And it's kind of hard because you want to be able to afford these card games, Kevin. And it's just so hard. I think that Bandai will see that we want alt arts instead of promos, like exclusive promos. Like even Digimon in their new tournament pack, they got alternate arts, not exclusive promos. I just hope Dragon Ball Super could kind of follow the same wavelength on that.
Well, that depends basically if Bandai wants DBS and Digimon to be a little more similar, but they don't want to keep things too similar to the idea of the products. If they do that, that'd be a little bit confusion and stuff, and it kind of shows that they are lack of creativity and a little bit lazy on the idea. So that could eye on the community for both players or any of the players that play both. So they basically just need to. They can do it. They just gotta be careful not to get noticed about it. Because there are people out there with the big YouTubers, bigger than the podcast, of course, will go out and just notify everybody in the community and their Facebooks and Twitters, and then they'll just basically have a rant and get messages like they've been getting for months with all the communities, because that's how pretty much happens and stuff that we get addicted to. This is our addiction, and we cannot stop it.
Yeah, it's hard. Cardboard becomes that kind of what is it? It's kind of like when you drink Pepsi or Coke and you get that adrenaline from the caffeine, and you just it just kind of becomes like you just become so addicted to it, and and it's kind of similar when we're playing these card games and stuff like that. And it's gonna be interesting to see that Cardfight Vanguard and Overdress, like we were mentioning earlier, they're experiencing some supply issues, and their $5 trial decks are $15 now. It just makes it kind of hard just to play any type of thing just during this whole pandemic.
I think basically COVID is one of the worst things that happened to card games, minus the scalpers. Of course, they are one of the reasons that's making it hard, but if you have to think about it, COVID was also the main reason that it's causing all this chaos.
It certainly doesn't help that Magic has 80% of the printing time, and then the other TCGs get whatever time Magic doesn't have, which explains why we see all this Magic product people don't want to scalp, which I find that funny.
Can you just imagine that you just go to Target, it's like, yes, we do have cards, it's only Magic though, and then you're just like, ugh.
It's, you know, I haven't seen that, but like around here, at the Targets in Naples, I've gone a couple of times, and the Pokemon people, they always look at me weird. Like if I'm invading their turf while they're just trying to buy everything out, and then they look innocent, and they're like, "No, I'm just gonna buy for myself," things like that. It's just kind of like, "Geez, guys," you know.
Well, now you think
It's
about
just
it, I could go take back what I said about the community.
well, I mean, but you know, like, I don't think that's the people in the community, because like Pokemon, Digimon, and Dragon Ball Super, their communities, from my experience, have been all welcoming, and it's 1,000 times better than what I experienced in Yu-Gi-Oh! Which I have a deck, but you know, I play that for fun more so than anything competitive in that game. But you can't stop bad apples trying to, you know, profit, because like, you know, like, why are they gonna go back to their 9 to 5 jobs when they can just make, like, you know, easy money off of this, you know? And
because they need their 9 to 5 jobs to start getting the cards. So, because in the end, because yeah, you're gonna make a profit, but you have to also remember you're selling this. They're only selling this on eBay and stuff online. See,
eBay, yes, correct.
But they're not gonna go to a card shop and go, yeah, I got this $200 card. Yeah, I'll give you $80 for it. That's like you're just losing. You're losing about $120 from that stuff, you know. And
yeah,
whatever.
Which is why. Oh, keep going. I'll let you finish.
Yeah, it's just where you go. It's gonna be problematic. And the worst part about these scalpers is they just go get the cards that's value. They put it on like eBay, and they just raise up the prices themselves. And they don't give a shit. They don't really care. They just want the money.
Which is why they couldn't scalp like Digimon or like not, because like they wouldn't open the product. They sell it sealed, right? But like, you know, Dragon Ball Super. This is why Yu-Gi-Oh isn't really affected, because these people don't enter these markets because they don't know what these markets are. Pokemon is kind of easy. Oh, I opened a Charizard. Okay, cool, got it. That's what I got to scalp. Or I opened this Rainbow Pikachu from Vivid Voltage. Oh, cool. I gotta get that. You know, there was a Charizard promo in the Hidden Fates Champion Path, I think. Is that set? I know it's Champion Path, but I might have said the wrong set. People want that Charizard. Like, there's no distinction within these new games what you gotta target. And I gotta applaud Target here for protecting their customers, protecting their employees, the vendors, and stuff like that. Because, you know, if a guy needs to pull out a gun against 4 people to defend himself, like that's a very scary situation, and that's a very bad situation, you know. And people are saying the hobby could die, this and that. Like, the TCGs aren't dying, and sports cards aren't dying. You know, we're not. I don't think we're in a bubble. People ask me all this all the time, Kevin. Like, people think, oh, this is a bubble. It's gonna pop. It's gonna shatter. But I tell people, this is the new TCG. This is the new market, because people have seen how these hobbies can be very profitable. And why would we ever go back to something before, like, oh, buying an MSRP or, you know, things like that? You know, for in some people's minds. So it's just that we really needed the climate change and the I wouldn't say control, but, you know, like, the stores needed to do something to cool down these people, you know. And because it's what, like, even the kids can't even play with the Pokemon cards, or they can't like, if they like athletes, they can't collect their favorite athletes on the cards, and it's really hurting them not being able to grow up with that as well.
And also the parents too, who has to be empty-handed. Because I met a guy during the line. He wanted to get some sports cards, and man, he just wanted to buy it for his son. And imagine you just go buy those cards, and you want to get it, there's nothing left, and you just come home empty-handed. And it's just
you can't compete with those guys that are there like 2-3 a.m. camping out, and you work a 9 to 5, you know, and you have priorities. Like, you can't beat that.
I'll tell you this though. I'll tell you the difference. Card games are like drugs, compare as video games are like sex. You get the drive out, you get everything you needed, you got the expense, You had fun, you put it away. You might want to try again if you're in the mood or not. Card games, you just get too addicted, you get too attached, and then when you run out of the sources that you want to do it, you get bored of it and you want to get to the next drug. And you want to keep getting that adrenaline over and over until it's all gone. And by the time you don't want it, or the time you realize you made that mistake, it'll be all too late. You know, I do see people who are always waiting for the video games because they are one of the stuff that can be limited at a time. I've seen that before. Like the PlayStation 5 was limited to stock, the Switch was limited to stock.
I mean, there's people that they go in. Great segue here. They go in their Amazon seller app, Kevin, and they go and they buy these used video games or new video games at Walmart at clearance, and these people make money too by selling it on eBay and making more than their 9 to 5. And that's something that's not being brought up enough. They buy a game $8 and then it's sold on Amazon for $40. They just made, what was that, $32 margin on that one game that at Walmart's like, we don't need this anymore. You know? It's just not TCGs, it's everything affecting right now. And how people are trying to survive due to this pandemic we're in.
And just to let everyone know, yeah, COVID is to blame, but understand anything that can happen, even if it isn't card games, comic books, video games, a car, fucking maybe that house you wanted to get on the street corner, they've been dying to have for a long time, but some asshole pick it up because you weren't there in time or got the money with in time. Or even shows, if you want to go, like if I almost didn't get my chance to go see AEW. You know, all that stuff has been doing that for years and years. Let's say about since probably, even on movie time too, let's say like about 50 years. Let's go with 50 years, because I could tell in 50 years it is basically dramatic to the point that people are desperate to get what they need. It's more of a need than a want. You know, and by the time they do get it and you feel satisfied, do you ever get to have that same satisfaction ever again, or are you just going to repeat the same crazy bullshit you're doing over and over again? Think about that, guys, because you understand that I can be right about because I've seen this before. I've even been through there too. Gio probably went through that too. Hell, maybe Noel, David, Moses, Stevie, any guy I can name. You can even see the big top celebrities maybe went through that stuff even before they were big. Who knows? Everything has been this way for a long, long time. And I've seen these messages even on TV, because they're telling you, yeah, we're doing this stuff because we're teaching you guys a lesson. You just don't get it. We're just entertained. You're just entertained by the series or the episode. But at the same time, they're just literally telling you what the fuck is going on, because that's like a regular day basis that's happening. You know?
Yeah, 1000%.
So that's it. You also have to come to the point. It's just cards. You know? Yeah, I mean, I love card games, but fuck, I'm not gonna fight a guy who has a gun just to get cards. I'm not that fucking desperate, dude. Jesus Christ. And what if
no.
And what if that guy was a cop, by the way? Did you think you're gonna jump him?
No.
No. And
you're going to jail is what's happening.
yeah, we and I don't want to get too deep, but we don't want to have another fucking riot here. So.
Oh man, yeah, that would be bad.
Yeah. So, on Case Spies, try not to be a scalper. If you're a scalper watching, please be smart. We don't want you to just be desperate. It's just card games. It's not the end of the world. And if you already have a lover with you, doesn't matter if you're gay, straight, it's fine. That's cool and all. But don't drag them into your pitiful world.
Yeah, please don't drag your kids there, like,
or teach
7 o'clock in the morning,
or or let them teach them in a way where they look at it the wrong way and they end up doing the same system over and over. It's ridiculous.
It's gonna be great now that we could just talk about TCGs in general. I mean, you know, Dragon Ball Super, we love that, and Bandai. There, you earlier on Facebook today, you were talking about, hey, you know, what people should we check out for new content creators? You should check us out. We're passionately always talking about your cards. I play Dragon Ball Super and I play Digimon Card Game 2020, and I love both your games, and I think they're fantastic, and I think you should give us a shot as content creators for Dragon Ball Super.
And not only
Or
that,
if you do,
oh sorry, continue.
or if you do that for Digimon 2020, please as well. We love your games, and yes, Kevin, he did have fun, but it was something that he doesn't like hate or anything about Digimon. It's just the memory system is so different, and if you're not used to it, it takes a bit to learn. But yes, we would be honored by you to try and be contacted by you for your card games and all that. So keep going, Kevin.
And yeah, if you guys are also interested in some of our stories, like what happens when we used to play these card games, and from the good, the bad, and the ugly, and everything, yeah, come and check us out. We're the podcast. We're back at it, and it did get a little boring when you just talk about one card game. It got boring to a point you just have a club for just one card game. But you have to understand, TCG is a community where you have everybody who plays around here during the areas in here, the North America, like Canada, Mexico. Maybe somewhere in the UK system, And we would also like to talk about OCG stuff too, because we also want to hear their stuff, because they're the ones who get the products ahead of us, and with updates that we can post around here, that in the future, the TCG, and we'll let you updates on dates, test plays and everything. We have Gio here, who has all the brains about anything that's happening. You got me, the host here, who runs the show, would like to get a little eccentric sometimes, likes to get ahead of everyone, maybe sometimes interrupt Gio himself, which Noel hates, but hey, who knows? If you want me to berate Noel, just say the word and you got it.
I mean, it's great because, we're doing the episode this week by ourselves. Hey, we don't have to edit anything this week, outside of like dead air,
Yeah. You also realize that podcast doesn't really do much editing. They only edit like intros and stuff, and it's exhausting doing the edits, guys. It's exhausting.
Oh yeah, Noel's like, hey, let me drop a pipe bomb like CM Punk. All of a sudden, it's like, oh no, here goes an hour of our lives editing.
Yeah, that's about episode 4, guys. That was a huge edit. I am the one who ended up taking the spot from him. I Hulk Hogan his ass.
So it's we're hoping you come along on this ride with us. We're still gonna talk about Dragon Ball Super. We really enjoy and love the game, but we with Kevin stepping into the Pokemon realm, and I'm trying all the TCGs out. I've been playing Digimon since 1.0. I'm about to try Card Fight Vanguard Overdress. I just want to try to see what else is out there as well, and stuff like that. It also doesn't help that PPG locals weren't firing. They're firing now, but it's we gotta give every game a chance to be a star.
Yeah, so guys, I really hope you enjoyed this episode today of the TCG Party, no longer known as the DBS Podcast, but I will still leave it in part of the DBS Podcast playlist on my YouTube channel. I'll change the name for it so that way you guys can always watch all the episodes and catch it up. Again, this is Season 3, Episode 1, here in the podcast. We hope you guys hear from us again. We're going to try to do our best to give you every chance we can explain. If we do have some time restraints in the episodes, just please bear in mind some of us sometimes are busy with school and work and other personal issues like I have to go through and stuff. So just please bear in mind, if we do the recording sometimes, I'll probably do like the editing sometimes on a weekend because I change my schedule around at work. But if anyway, guys, I do appreciate you all for listening to our episode of the podcast. Thank you for watching. I also want to thank Giovanni here for always coming into the show, always being Kevin, my side man here, because without him, to be honest with you, it'd just be kind of boring just hearing me just flapping my guns like I've done on my channel, which is fine, but I like to take it differently that I show in the podcast. So
I mean, 1 is better than 2, but is 3 better than 2? That is the question.
It depends on the third person.
Yeah, I mean, and even Noel has started playing Digimon more than Dragon Ball after selling his stuff. And I meant to mention this earlier. As soon as they announced these reprints, he was so salty that he sold his decks. And he's like, really? So, like, it's interesting that how one little simple reprint can draw you back.
Noel, coming for from one of your best friends. I love you, but you're a fucking idiot.
Also, Bandai, if you're listening, could you please, for the love of God, do a real ban list? But anyway, keep on going, Kevin.
I mean, be better than Konami, for God's sake.
I mean, Konami actually, bans things. Yeah.
They ban things, but I'm saying they're not on the ball and they suck. But let's not try to end. Let's not try to get. Maybe we'll talk about that in the next episode. Anyway, guys, we've all taken up your time. We thank you once again. One more time, I'll thank Gio. And I hope you guys check us out. I will also like to give a huge shout out. Well, because why not? I do want to give a little shout out once more to a good friend named David Walker. Check out DW Gaming's on the TCG player. He's a great man with great sales. He helps me and Gio and all of our other friends to get good sales of trading cards, depending on the game that he's basically selling them, whether Dragon Ball, Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh! If he has it, he'll basically make the good sales for it. He gives a good percentage of what cards you want to go ahead and sell to him, that you want to get money back. And he'll be fair. He will not trick you like some other card shops can do. And he'll just be curious. And if he's not online, it's because he's going to be backed up with all the card sales. But that doesn't mean the fact he's still there. He will always be there to go ahead and make some great sales. And if you order it, he'll ship it right straight to your mail right at the moment, the first day. So again, check him out, DW Gaming. Look him up somewhere around in the TCG players market. And on TCGplayer.com, you can look up on the sellers list. And without further ado, guys, and again, thank you so much for joining us for the podcast. It's great to be back. And so I say farewell, adieu, sweet solo, goodbye, good night, mwah, and goodbye. Bang! This is Fortune Striker.